I feel the need for speed. Top Gun Maverick, one of the biggest movies from last year. I've now finally seen it. This is another one I caught on the airplane. This one I saw coming back from Portland, and yeah, it's pretty good. Like, I'd heard that enough that I wasn't shocked, but it was still pleasant to find out. First of all, I guess relation to Top Gun, I like the original Top Gun. I kind of grew up on it a little bit. Not like that it was my favorite movie growing up, but I watched it a fair bit. I liked it. Um, this does a really good job of recapturing the feel and the look. Like, you can tell that this was largely, if not entirely, filmed practically. All the aerial stuff and the cockpit view stuff, and there is a very distinct difference and visceral feel to it. And the fact that it opens with the same text crawl and the same music, and that it kicks into Danger Zone. This movie knows exactly what it's doing. And Tom Cruise is still really good in this part. Like, I know it's very easy to sort of rip on Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise is a bit of a weird guy, but he's real good at what he does, and he's real good in this, and he's able to embody this character still, and also have him feel a bit different, not drastically, but like feel older, not feel like a guy trying to recapture and still act like his youth, but like, yeah, he's a little older, but he's still got it because he doesn't know how to do anything else. It doesn't feel like it's ignoring his age. It feels like it is integrating the fact that he can't stop being who he is as an aspect of the character, even as he ages. So I like that. I was real skeptical about the notion of Miles Teller being in here as Goose's kid. I was like, I don't know about that. It works pretty well. And actually, Miles Teller's pretty good in this. I haven't seen him in that many things, granted, but he's never really done much for me, if I'm being honest. He works pretty well here. He captures a very similar essence to Anthony Edwards, who played Goose in the original. And that works quite well. I also like that we get some additional backstory that, he and Maverick had that this new character, Rooster, he and Maverick had a relationship, and it wasn't just that Goose died when Maverick was piloting. There was more stuff that happened since then that kind of reinforced a divide between them. And I like that because it shows that thought, like, I'm not going to say people don't hold a grudge for 30 plus years. Some people do, but I think giving something that would reinforce it and give a reason for that grudge to remain, kind of top it up, that was good. And we've got this whole cast of new, younger hotshots who are very much, well, not all of them one-to-one, but like collectively as a group, very much parallels to the cadets in the original movie. I do think that Hangman, who's the resident asshole, he's a little bit more of an asshole than is necessary. I think he's more dickish than Iceman was, and like to a degree that's like, really? With this guy? But he didn't drag down the movie by any means. He only has one scene, but Val Kilmer coming back, that was great. He was real good. That was just real nice to see. And the thing is, it didn't feel token. It felt like a real meaningful scene between Maverick and Iceman. That was good. But ultimately, what really sells this is the action stuff. It's the stuff in the planes. It's the tension of seeing these people try and accomplish something that is incredibly taxing, incredibly difficult, incredibly dangerous. And because it was shot practically, you feel that sense of it so much. And it's really, really good. It is really well done. There are a couple of hiccups. Well, before I get to, like, honestly, I've only kind of got one actual hiccup, and even this didn't derail it. It's just like, it's a little odd. But I'll touch briefly on the romantic subplot. So this has Jennifer Connelly coming in as Penny Benjamin. Now, Penny Benjamin does not appear in the original, but is referenced. And I like that because it means Maverick can come in with somebody that he clearly already has a relationship and a dynamic and a history with, and we can skip all the initial courtship stuff and basically jump right to, look, we have this thing and we can pick it up again or we might not. And I like that dynamic better. It honestly just feels like a far more mature dynamic. Because, yeah, Maverick feels a little bit like a guy who has a girl in every port, but that doesn't make him incapable of building real connections with some of those people and coming back into their lives and being like, I know I didn't stay because I'm me, but that doesn't mean I didn't care about you, and it doesn't mean that there isn't anything here. And it just kind of inherently skipping over that initial, hey, how's it going, for the first time thing just makes it feel like a more mature relationship, kind of inherently. And I do appreciate that. I still don't love it because it's a romantic subplot in a movie that doesn't really need it. So, no, of course I don't really love it. And, like, to be fair, the original didn't need its romantic subplot either. I feel like that was only in that movie to try and no homo the whole thing. And then that first movie is still exceptionally gay. But I don't really think it needs to be here, but this is about as inoffensive, at least to my taste, as it was going to be. So that's fine. That works well enough. Like I said, I did have kind of one actual complaint, and that is there's an additional climax after the climax. Like, there's the thing that the whole movie's been building towards, and that happens. And then there's more afterwards. The whole thing with after, I'm going to try and be slightly vague about this. I don't know why I don't feel like spoiling. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to talk in detail. Spoiler warning, I guess. So after the mission is completed, the mission they were training for, the mission everyone was working towards, and Maverick gets shot down, and then Rooster goes to rescue him. He gets shot down too, and the two of them are behind enemy lines, and they have to steal an out-of-date plane to try and get back. It feels like a hat on a hat. Like, we did the climax. And if, like, in my mind, the only thing that was still waiting to happen after that climax was a dogfight with these superior planes. And you could have done that with the planes that they had already. You didn't have to down them, put them in an even worse plane. Like, yes, it kind of ups the tension, but, like, you've already spent most of the movie establishing how much better the enemy fighters are to yours. So, like, I already buy they're at a disadvantage. Taking the time to ground them and do this, it's more than it needs. When really all you had to do was have them get out of the range of the surface to air missiles, and then the jets in the air caught up with them, and then we have our dogfight. Like, that's it. Just do that. So yeah, it's a little unnecessary, the kind of twisting the story does to itself to sort of force the issue, but it also doesn't break it because, again, the stuff in the air is so good. And yet, like, there's also the underlying issues of its military propaganda and all that. Like, I shouldn't have to say that, but, like, I will. It's inherent to it. So taking that as a given, I quite like this. This was a very good revival, and I would say at least arguably structurally as a film and as an actual narrative, I think it's a better movie than the original is. It's hard for me to judge because I've got a lot of nostalgia for the original, But the original has a very loose story because it's just like guy goes to jet fighter school and has some issues and does pretty well, and then at the end goes on a mission that is completely separate from any of that. Whereas this, it's all building up to this one thing. This is honestly a better structured movie, and the action seems so well filmed. This might be better. I'm just not sure I'm in a position to make that call. It's a worthy success for a successor at the very least. So Top Gun Maverick. I'm late on this one, I know. But what did you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon pays the bills. Enables me to do this as my living, even if you can't help me out that way. Like, share, subscribe. They'll help me out. Don't worry too much about it, though. We take a relaxed attitude around here, unlike these people. Just flying at Mach 10. Good grief. But you can just come on back next time you need a break. Time to thank some Patreon backers, and in the spirit of October, I'd like to thank Robin Moore, Zubin Lutfullah, Goddess Alita, Turok, The Thing That Goes Doink in the Anime, Ruth, Oliver B., Solitary Pictures, Ulrich Bogdan, Melinda Walters, Jen, Auntie Kate 808, Becky Sparks, Fernobulax the Poodle, Robin Powell, Tracy Scrabbit, Angry Casperl, Dave Hall, and Rosalind Bennett. Thank you for your assistance. I don't know, I might try theming the shoutouts in the future. I don't know, we'll see. Thank you.